Almost every culture in the world has some sort of mythical being that surprises children during the holidays. For example, Spanish children receive gifts from the three Reyes Magos, or the three wise men. In Germany, children are fearful of Krampus, which is a demonic being that whips and kidnaps children that misbehave. But for most of us, that mythical being is Santa Claus, one of the biggest sources of holiday magic during our childhoods. To us, Santa Claus is this jolly old man in a red suit with a sack full of toys who he delivers to well-behaved kids. His rosy cheeks, full white beard, and distinctive laugh make him an extra lovable character, and the stories of his workshop, full of elves, his magical sleigh, and his ability to fit into chimneys all across the world make him even more magical. But Santa isn't the only source of magic during the holidays, and one of the other sources is the elf on the shelf. Now, I'm not fully sure if elves on the shelves are still as popular today as they were 10 years ago, but when I was about 8 years old, it felt like almost everybody in my class had one. So of course, being the whiny little snot-nosed brat that I was, I begged my parents to get us one. And being the loving parents that they were, they obliged. If you're not familiar with how elves on the shelf work, they move around from place to place overnight when people aren't watching. For me, my elf had brown hair that swooped to the side and blue eyes that always looked a little bit to the left. When I got him, I named him Jacob Joseph Jinkenheimer Smith. It's a very odd name, I know. I'm not sure why I named him that, but I know when I did, he came to life. Every time I would go to sleep, he would move to a different part of the house, and I would search for him every morning. Sometimes I would find him hanging on from the mantle above the fireplace, sometimes riding the tiny red horse decoration we have, and other times getting into trouble being in places he shouldn't be, like a cookie jar or getting into some candy. But even if it was hard to find him some days, and some days I couldn't find him at all, looking for him and seeing what he was up to was all part of the magic. So when my dog Millie found and chewed up Jacob, my parents knew they had a big problem on their hands. See, it wasn't easy to find that elf to begin with. We had to look through maybe 2 or 3 stores to find the right one, so finding a replacement for the elf that had just been chewed up would be next to impossible. My dad discovered the chewed up Jacob while I was at school, so he called my mom to let her know, and she immediately booked it to every Michael's, Target, and Barnes & Noble's that may have another elf. After searching store after store, thinking she would never find one, she finally did. But it wasn't quite exactly the same as the original. This elf was not looking to the side like the original Jacob did. So what did my parents do to keep the magic alive? Gaslight me. They gaslit little 8-year-old me. When I asked, "Didn't he used to look to the left?" they simply went, "No, I think he always looked that way." And I believed it. If anything, it made the magic a little bit more special. It wasn't until one day, when I was about 12 years old, that I found 2 Elf on the Shelf boxes, and I was told about the race to find another elf before Cole finds out. And to be honest, I thought this was a really funny and cool story. I thought it was cool that my parents went way out of their way to keep the magic alive and the fun going by wasting a lot of time and effort to find a replacement. But that's just what parents do. They go so far out of their way to do something for the children that they love, just to make them happy. And I hope that one day I can be like them and do the same for my children.